So, I mean, the main pro of staying in a hostel, of course, is that you're going to save money. But really, at what cost? Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or to it if this is the first time you are seeing my face. Thank you for clicking on it. Today we're going to be doing a little sit-down chit-chat with you guys about my hostel experience in London, UK. I am a little bit under the weather. I have COVID. I've been trapped in my apartment for about a week now, and this is the first day I feel, I don't know, somewhat like a human. So I'm just going to make this a super casual video, otherwise it'll never get done. And while I sit in my beanie bag chair, we're going to paint my nails and talk about the pros and cons of hostel life. So if you like the sound of that, grab yourself a nice warm beverage. It is officially fall now, even though it's still hot as balls outside here in California. But we're just going to sit down and hang out audiobook style. So if you like that, then stay tuned, team. Alright, first I'm going to take off my nail polish. Also, these are the longest my nails. Actually, I'll show you when I take off the nail polish. I'm a big nail polish picker. I don't know about you guys. I love to pick off my nail polish, and this nail polish didn't pick off nicely. Like, it picked off... I can't describe it, so we're gonna actually have to remove this properly this time. Alright, so first let me give you a quick overview about the hostel where I stayed. I won't be giving too many specific details because I did a full-on story time about them. Check out that other video, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But essentially, I stayed at a hostel in London. I chose a bunk bed in a room with 8 other bunk beds. It came out to be about $200 for 5 nights, 6 days. My particular hostel included day-to-night activities, so every single day they would take you on a daily tour of somewhere in London. So one day they do the royal tour where you see Buckingham Palace and Big Ben, and then another day they take you to one of the markets or Brick Lane, or one of the places where it'd be like a lot of food stalls and vintage shopping, so more of a local look at London living. Then in the middle of the day they'd have a snack in the common area, kind of encouraging you to go to the living room and chit-chat with some other travelers. At night they had a family dinner every single night that was always vegetarian and always free, which was nice in case you're really trying to save money. They could, I don't know, you just eat all your meals with these travelers, and it was basically just like a skillet meal, but it got the job done. And then every single night they also had available drinking games where you play a bunch of silly games with all of the other travelers, and then they take you out for a fun pub crawl to a different club or bar every night throughout the city. And then here's just a quick tour of the hostel where I stayed so you get an idea. So they have really nice showers with nice overhead waterfall features. It is dorm room style, so multiple showers and then multiple sinks as well, kind of like a gym. What's also nice in the bathrooms was they had bins for free toiletries, so I actually left a lot of my toiletries when I was heading out and didn't want to pack it in my suitcase. But it was kind of nice that there were options there for shampoo and conditioner in case you were running out or needed some. And then here's my room with the 8 different bunk beds, and people kind of customize them however they feel. I'll get into this a little bit more into the video. You don't have to do a bunk bed. There are other types of rooms like singles, doubles, more private ones, depending on what you're willing to pay for. And then you go down the stairs, and there were quite a lot of stairs in this hostel. I was on the 5th floor and there was no elevator, and I had a 50-pound suitcase. That was my nightmare. But down the stairs, you get to the common room area. So there is a kitchen that is free to use. You just obviously have to bring your own food. Same for the fridge and for the drinks, that as long as you put your name on it, everything's yours. In the kitchen, they have everything that you need in terms of utensils, tools, equipment, whatever you want to cook. As long as you clean up after yourself, that's the only rule. I never did any cooking in there, but everything was there if you actually needed it. And then right outside was a cute little porch place. I think there was another porch, but I never made my way out there. And then after the common room area, there's just a cute little living room with a TV and a little hangout section, and I know that they had Netflix and YouTube already included. I never went so much down there because then you'd really have to hang out, but that's just kind of a brief tour and overview of the specific hostel that I stayed in. But now, let's get into some of the actual pros and cons of staying in a hostel. This is also like very particular to me being 30. I just turned 30 years old and I consider myself like an old woman now, and a lot of these experiences have to do with my age. So take that with a grain of salt, that if you're younger and more limber and can handle shirtless dudes walking around 24/7, then you might have a better time than I did. But overall, just know I had a great time, but there were some cons. Let's get into it. I should have put more lemon in my tea. Golly, my throat. Oh, I'm sick of being sick. It's been a week. Oh no. Alright, this is in no particular order, but con number 1 is that you might get freaking sick. Like me. I feel like I have the Bulgarian flu or something. I don't know. This round of COVID hit me harder than anything else. I had body aches. I had the chills. I was sweating, yet I was feverishly cold. It's been 5 days and I'm just so over it. But that's what happens when you not only get a bunch of people together in one room, but the fact that they're from all different places and they're all traveling the world and getting different types of bacterium inside of them. So that was definitely a con, is that it's kind of like a lot of this I'll be comparing a lot to college, but I remember the first time I went to college, everybody was just getting sick because it was just all these new germs being introduced to each other. So not great, but we're powering our way through it. So just take some airborne before you guys stay in a hostel. But pro number 1 is you do meet a lot of new people and make a lot of new friends very easily. It very much has that summer camp vibes, or those like first week of college vibes as a freshman, where everybody realizes they're kind of all in it alone, and they have that like-minded mentality of like, okay, like if I want to meet new people, I have to kind of put myself out there. So it is a lot easier to make friends because people are a lot more open to it. Opening to it. I can't go on. Because people are a lot more open to meeting new people, knowing that they're traveling alone and might want to have a few people on their side. So I made a lot of new friends really easily because it's just a matter of, hey, where are you coming from? Where are you going? And conversations get started super effortlessly. And then you get to decide if you want to continue hanging out with those people. You know, you get invited along like, hey, today we're going to go to Tower Bridge. Do you want to come along? Absolutely, you guys were fun. Or maybe not. You want to go off on your own and do a lot of things. But it does give you the option to meet a lot of new people, which is very, very nice traveling solo. And if you guys have been following me, you know that I love meeting new people. I love talking to strangers. I can't shut up. So this was great to kind of get out all of those feelings of wanting to talk to people, but at the same time go and branch off on my own during certain days that I wanted to do certain things. This is what I meant by like, look how long my nails are. You see it? These are the longest my nails have ever been, so I'm trying to take care of them and I'm trying to paint them. So what color should we paint them with? Gonna go with the color MG. That's not very excited, but this is by Olive and June. They actually sent this to me, and I really like their stuff. Hashtag not sponsored, but cute color. So con number 2, and this is an obvious one, is that you get no space staying in a hostel. And like I mentioned, you can upgrade to other rooms where you get a little bit more room to yourself. But for me, it was like, no, if I'm going to stay in a hostel, I'm going to do it camp counselor bunk bed style. And you get no room to yourself. They have lockers in the room, but the lockers can only fit so much. When you're used to staying in a hotel and spacing out, hanging up your stuff in the bathroom, putting your stuff in drawers, having your suitcase off to the side for whatever you want to grab into, that's not really the case when you're in a tiny little room and can't really change more than a day at a time. You kind of end up just living on your bunk bed. So on my bunk bed, I slept with my toiletry bag because it wasn't worth putting away in my suitcase. I had all my different changes of clothes just strewn out on the bed with me because there's no drawers to put them in. You have your little locker, and that was helpful, but it's not the same as being able to sprawl out like you would in a hotel room. So that took some adjusting because I kind of felt like once a day, I had my chance to pull out my suitcase, open it up, and pick out my next outfit for the day, what accessories I'd need, what I'd need for my backpack, because then when other people are in the room, you just don't have the space to do it. So space was something that was pretty luxurious and not available in a hostel. But pro number 2, and the most obvious reason people stay in hostels, is you save so much money. So like I mentioned, I stayed at my hostel for 5 nights, 6 days for a total cost of about $200 US. I think it was like 170 British pounds. But I don't know British pounds that well. So $200 US dollars for 5 nights. That's a pretty good deal. But I will say there were hostels that were even less expensive, but they didn't include all of the different activities like I mentioned before. But for $200 to basically get a week roof over your head, I think that was a pretty good deal. I also specifically saved money with this hostel because I did do a lot of their free events. So I went on a couple of their daily tours. I went to Brick Lane, which is one of the largest vintage boutique markets in all of the UK, did some vintage shopping there. I also went to, I forget the name of the markets, Camden Market, I think it was, and that had a lot of good food stalls, a lot of international dishes, and just good place to go eating. And it's like, I spent the whole day with this tour group, and yes, I bought my food and did activities with them, but by having a tour, it's like it took out the money I would have spent, spending on a tour, doing a bus tour, or I don't know, paying somebody else to do it. So I also saved money by doing that with them, going out on the pub crawls with them, because I had people to actually go out with and I knew which pub crawls to go to, but they also took you to certain clubs that had deals. So for example, on Wednesday nights, we went to this one jazz club because they had half off price cocktails, and it's like, I wouldn't have known to do that, but by going with this built-in group of friends, I now save $6 every single espresso martini. And I had a lot of espresso martinis, let me tell you that, team. So, of course you save money in a hostel, but con number 3, the price that you're paying for that is that you get no privacy. This is very obvious with the bunk beds specifically, but I didn't realize how much it felt like being in middle school, thinking, oh my gosh, where do I change my outfit? The bathroom stalls are only enough to literally your knees are touching the walls in the bathroom, that you have to shower every day and change in the shower. Like, I'm getting full on dressed in the shower because there's nowhere else to change. You have a lot of people who are definitely more free-spirited and are just going balls to the wall in the bunk beds and getting changed, in front of everybody. But not really my style, so no privacy in terms of that. But also just in the fact that it kind of feels like everybody knows your business. And here are 2 funny examples. One would be, I was on the top bunk, and the guy, down on the bottom bunk down here, he was watching something on his iPad, and I just found myself watching, what he was watching at nighttime, because it was just a bright light in the middle of the room, and he was watching John Wick, which I thought was funny, because there are no words in John Wick, you just watch it. So I just watched full-on John Wick with him. But then I thought to myself, I wouldn't want anybody, watching me scroll on Instagram or seeing what TikToks I'm watching, but hey, that's showbiz, baby, when you're living in a hostel. But then the other funny story, and I mentioned this in my other story time about this hostel, was I went out drinking with some of the hostel people one night, and I just went too hard, got too hungover, but was also just too tired from my 2 weeks of traveling. That was a lot of twos, team. Sorry about that. And I ended up sleeping for 17 hours. I basically lost a whole day in London because I just got so tired and I was sleeping. But by the time I finally got up and saw everybody the next couple of days, people were like, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, why? And they'd be like, you were asleep the entire day. You're in our room. You just look like a dead body on the top bunk. And I'd be like, I don't know, this just happens sometimes. Don't worry about me, guys. So you just get no privacy, everybody knows what you're up to, and it was just kind of hard to deal with coming from a 30-year-old who lives alone in an apartment in Los Angeles. So bear in mind you're going to have to make some deal breakers and change in front of some people a la middle school style. But another really cool pro of staying in a hostel is you are staying with people kind of a very like-minded mentality when it comes to traveling. So most of the people that I met were backpacking their way through Europe, which is funny. Did anybody else growing up thinking that backpacking through Europe meant you would you were carrying a tent on your back and you were staying in the Swiss Alps and on grassy knolls and trying to find your way, and then it finally appears and you see the Eiffel Tower? Turns out that's not what backpacking through Europe means. It just means instead of a suitcase, everything you have is in a backpack, and then you go see 10 countries for only $1,000 within 3 months. I should have done that. Anyway, most of these people are backpacking their way through Europe. They're trying to save money, but they're also very respectful of each other because they are staying in hostels. And what I mean by that is I had zero issues with people being loud too late at night. So there were a couple of nights that I went to bed early. I was like, I am kicking the bucket at 8 p.m. Kicking the bucket, doesn't that mean I'm dying? I don't know, I kind of felt like I was dying some nights, so let's keep it. But I'd go to bed at like 8 p.m. People would walk in, see that the light was off, see that there is a unmoving body in the bunk, and people were respectful. They weren't being loud or being like, hey, it's party time, I get to do whatever I want, there's no such thing as quiet hours. No, they'd see that you're sleeping and be very respectful. So I never had an issue with people being loud, belligerent, disrespectful. But another thing that this translates into is that people were very clean. I saw so many people clean their dishes immediately after using them. I saw so many people where in the showers, the girls would immediately pick up their hair, or they would like wipe around the sink after they were done brushing their teeth. And I thought that was a lot nicer than back in my college dorm days where you had to remind your annoying roommate to freaking take out the trash once a month, even at that. These people understood that they needed to clean up after themselves, that there were so many other people living there that just be respectful, and that's all that matters. So I think it was nice because you were around like-minded people who just kind of understood that. And in terms of the like-mindedness, it was cool to just only talk about travel with people and that being enough to talk about. Everybody there is out traveling, everybody there is out seeing the world and doesn't care about what they're spending on their hotel accommodations, but more about the sights that they're seeing. So it's so cool to just sit down at a table with all these people and ask like, hey, where are you headed to next? Where you going? Oh my gosh, you're going to Oktoberfest? Oh my gosh, you guys are too? Maybe you'll link up and meet up there, sort of thing. And it was nice to get recommendations for places to travel to. For example, I had just come from Paris and went straight to London. There was a girl who was going to be doing that in a couple weeks. A lot of us were telling her, take the train. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's so much easier. She was thinking about booking tickets, but instead she booked a train instead. I gave her restaurant recommendations for when she was going. So again, it was nice to just have that like-minded group of people to just be living with and being like, hey, we're all in this together. I should have sang that more often. That's a true summer camp song for hostel people. But another con, and it's gonna completely contradict everything I just said, but it is important. Oh no, my nails. Oh, is the suspense killing you guys? Ugh, me too. Is that you kind of end up having the same conversations over and over and over and over and over and over again. That was a note to editing Jacy to do some cool effect there. But you basically have the same conversations in the sense of, where are you from? I had to answer where I was from so many times that a couple of times I made it up. People would be like, where are you from? I'd be like, Los Angeles, Los Angeles, Los Angeles. I told somebody Las Vegas at one point just to see what reaction I'd get. People love Las Vegas. And then I told somebody else I was from New York because that's where my sister's from. It didn't really make a difference, but you have to answer where you're from about 10 times a day. And that's just because you're meeting 10 new people in passing. You meet people when you're brushing your teeth, when you're putting your dishes away, when you're grabbing water before you head out. It did get kind of exhausting. But in the same vein, I'm asking people the same questions too. You know, I hear a fun new accent and I'm like, whoa, cool, where are you from? And they're like, I'm from New Zealand. Yep, mate. I don't know how to do a New Zealand accent, sorry. And I told, 100 people that I just come from Paris and that this was the last leg of my trip. And I told a million people that, I wish I was going to Oktoberfest because everybody was going to Oktoberfest, or Amsterdam's next on the list kind of thing. So you are answering the same questions because you are around like-minded people that are only there for traveling. So it did get a bit exhausting, and I did have a cool conversation with one of our hostel employees who was one of the tour guides one day where I asked him, like, what's the hardest part about this job? And he said, actually, it's having the same conversations every day because I'm giving them so shallowly at this point that I don't really care about what anybody else's answers are. But at the same time, I meet so many good friends working at the hostel that then they have to leave and I never see them again. So it's hard having those same conversations and not knowing if that person's going to become your best friend or if you're never going to see them again. So just kind of something to think about. I thought that was really interesting because I was already exhausted by it for only a week of staying there, that I can only imagine a guy working there would get pretty tired of saying, oh yeah, I'm from Canada. Oh yeah, don't you know? Can you guys tell I'm so good at accents? I know. But then piggybacking off of that is you gain an international perspective of something I've never encountered before. I met so many people from so many different countries in such a short time that it really opened my eyes to just how big this world is and what a small little human I am. And actually, hang on, where's my phone? I actually made a list where anytime somebody told me they were from somewhere new, I wrote it down, and I wanted to see like all the different places that I was meeting people. In the 5 nights / 6 days I stayed at the hostel, here are just some of the places of people that I met. Germany, Canada, Israel, Australia, Lithuania, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Portugal, Spain, Russia, Brazil, Mexico, Chile, and Kansas. I thought that was funny because I've never met anybody from Kansas before. And so again, it's this weird balancing act of like being annoyed that you have to answer the same questions every day, but as a consumer of the questions, I was geeking out because, you know, I met somebody from Australia and, you know, I had to ask about like, are the spiders actually really big there? Okay, good to know. Like, that's scary, not for me, but like, thanks for letting me know. Or I met somebody from Israel who was such a sweetheart, but like he was kind of struggling with the language barrier a little bit and just kind of learning more about that. Like, how'd you learn English? What makes you want to travel? Like, where are you headed to next? And then, you know, you meet somebody from Germany being like, how do you feel about all these people going to Oktoberfest coming up soon? And they'll be like, oh, we love Oktoberfest. Like, it's totally fine. So it's so cool meeting so many international people and being like, wow, like the way you talk about your country and where you're from makes me want to go visit. Like, it really just made me want to travel even more and learn more about everybody's cultures, because here I was in London, the United Kingdom, the motherland for Caucasians, and I met so many more international people than I ever could have imagined by staying in a hostel. So I found that invaluable to the whole experience. But another con, I'm just gonna rant for a little bit. A con is you might get the top bunk, and you know what? Fuck the top bunk. Holy crap, you guys. I was miserable on the top bunk. So I was not only on the top bunk, but I don't know what vendetta they had against me. Why are they so angry with me? But I got the worst bed in the entire hostel. I was on the very top floor, so the 5th floor of this historic building with no elevator and a 50-pound suitcase. That's fine. It happens. No big deal. But then they put me on the top bunk next to the window, and my first thought is, oh cool, like I'll get the breeze faster than everybody, because there was no air conditioner and it was hot as balls. I'm like, haha, suckers, I'm closer to the wind. No, I was right by the window, and at precisely 10 a.m. every morning, the sun would perfectly shine its beam right onto my bunk bed, creating this laser beam of sweat effect that I would literally be sitting there dripping balls, you guys, with sweat. Oh, it was making me so angry. I couldn't sleep in any of the days because of this sunlight. It was so frustrating. It was also hard because I was there during an uncharacteristically hot week. So not only was it super hot and I was running out of warm clothes, so I was like re-wearing clothes that like were dirty and gross. I don't even want to get into it. But there was no air conditioning and there was no breeze anyway. And so the fan for the room pointed to the rest of the room and completely avoided me in terms of its wake of wind. That was just a little rant about the top bunk I got specifically. But for something that might be helpful for you guys, if you get the top bunk, don't. Try not to get the top bunk, because the bottom bunk, you get storage. You get underbed storage. People were putting their shoes underneath there. They could at least slide their things in and out from underneath the bed. I didn't have that option. People were creating these makeshift curtain partitions so that way they could hide themselves a little bit more, give themselves a little ounce of privacy. Couldn't really do that with the top bunk. Some of the bottom bunks also had storage. So like the girl beneath me, she had the windowsill / I don't know what machine this was, but she even had a little bit of storage, a little bit of a shelf to her bunk. Not mine. This part, which was probably the most disrespectful thing I faced during my whole hostel stay, and this is like not even that disrespectful, but somebody kept putting their shit at the base of my ladder of the bunk bed. So I had to step over their stuff and like do some crazy rock climbing moves I learned from Philip in my 30 before 30 bucket list item. Check out that video. But I had to maneuver my body in a way just to get to the ladder to get onto my bunk. And then coming down, I had to jump over it. That, I'm not gonna lie, a couple times I just full on stepped on all their crap. Because I'm like, why would you put your stuff at the base of my ladder where I need to step to get onto my bed? Like, And I didn't know who it was because, like, you come in and go and you never see them. I don't know. I just really wanted to rant about this part. Try not to get the top bunk. It sucks. Bottom bunk for life. And because if you, like, need to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you're not, like, trying to be quiet and, like, quietly work your way down. No, you could just sit up and go. And, like, to put on your shoes, if you have the bottom bunk, you could just sit on your bed and put on your shoes. I had to, like, stand and jump around. Oh my god, I wanted the bottom bunk so badly. I should have told them that I'm, like, 30 with sciatica or something. Maybe they would have given mercy on me. But there was no bunk switching. I asked, and they said that all the bunks were already assigned. No big deal. Just try to get a bottom bunk. If you take anything from this absorbently long video, that's me unnecessarily ranting about things, just get the bottom bunk. That's all. A pro of hostels that I was actually very pleasantly surprised by was how safe and secure it was. So I did another story time a couple months back where I stayed in a sketchy motel and basically almost got kidnapped. True story. And it's because I was being cheap and I didn't want to spend a penny more than I needed to. And so I got the cheapest motel room possible. Sure enough, spoiler if you haven't seen that. No, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go watch that video. It's kind of crazy. My safety was in severe jeopardy staying in that sketchy room. But by staying in this college dorm / summer camp vibe style, you have that hive mentality where, you know, everybody was there. It just felt safer than being in a sketchy motel room all alone by myself. What was also nice is that my hostel in particular, they gave us a wristband. You could not come and go without a wristband. So that immediately gave me peace of mind that there were no randos coming into our hostel, that they weren't coming into my room and scavenging throughout the bunk beds trying to find valuables. I don't know what they thought they'd find in a room full of people who can only afford a bunk bed for traveling. But all of the doors, so the door to my room individually had a lock. The hostel itself had another separate key code to get into. You couldn't even get in without a wristband. It felt very safe and secure, and that is peace of mind that you can't pay for when you're traveling on a dime. So if you are saving money but also worry about your safety, especially traveling solo, don't do a sketchy motel. I would think I would sooner do a hostel than a sketchy motel to myself. But it was nice having the space to myself in a motel, so don't take my word for that. Wow, I did a pretty shitty job on my nails, but let's do a top coat anyway. Alright, what are we on? Are we on a pro, a con, a number 10, number 8? I don't even know anymore. Another quick con that was originally a pro, but I'm making it a con now, depending on how you want to look at it, is you do have to be social somewhat. So while this was a pro in the sense of, you know, you meet new friends, you get some new international perspectives, there is an element that you are expected to be social. People will talk to you, and you don't really have the option to, like, put a sign over your neck saying, like, do not disturb. When you're in a hotel, you can sit there all night long and never have to speak a word for weeks on end. In a hostel, even as you walk through the door, you kind of have to give your pleasantries to the hostel employee and say, like, hey, like, how's your day going? How have things been? How you like in London? You know, you walk up the stairs and you see people that you met the night before at drinking and being like, hey, what have you been up to today? Did you check out that place? How's it going? So there is some level of being social that you just can't get out of. So bear that in mind. I feel like if you're not a social person in general, you wouldn't even consider a hostel. But there were just some days where I was like, please stop talking to me, child. I'm hungover, and the British food sucks and lacks any flavor. Don't talk to me. Another pro that I was pleasantly surprised by, and again, this could be just the specific hostel that I stayed in. I should also mention, if you really are interested in hostels and going to London specifically, goodness gracious. If you're looking to go into hostel living specifically in London and really want to know what hostel I stayed in, DM me on Instagram and I'll tell you. I know I'm being vague, but I have my reasons. I'm just trying to not put any particular company on blast, but I really did like my hostel that I stayed in. And one of the other pros of that is how clean it was. Every single day, they had a man, his name was Chong, he came in and cleaned. I know this because every day they sent us a group chat message reminding us to clean up after ourselves, to Oh, that's another pro I should mention. So my hostel specifically, I don't know if other hostels do this, but mine was a social hostel. As soon as you check in, you have to join their WhatsApp. You don't have to, but you join their WhatsApp group. And WhatsApp is basically just like international texting that everybody could be a part of. And that's how you know the activities for the day. So every morning on WhatsApp, they say, hey everyone, today we're going on a tour of this, this, and this. Meet in the hotel lobby at 10 in the morning. And then in the afternoon, they'll say, hey guys, tonight we plan on pub crawling here, here, and here. Drinking game started this time, yada, yada, yada. But they also give very important reminders. They'll say, hey guys, just a reminder, like no outside hostel guests are allowed inside. Just a reminder, like clean up after yourselves in the bathroom. Hey, we found this pair of shoes in the bathrooms, like whose is it type of stuff. So it's very helpful having that group chat, again, that hive mentality, people that already have your backs built in. But it was also nice because throughout the day, they'd send us reminders being like, hey guys, remind us to clean up after ourselves. And they also said, Chong comes in every day at this time into your bedroom, so make sure to have everything picked up from the floors because he'll be cleaning this and then. What was my pro on this? I got real off topic. This video is probably going to be really long, a lot longer than I expected. This is what happens when I do like chit chats instead of like scripted videos is, you know, I have my pros and cons listed down there, but I'm just kind of, I'm literally just chit-chatting. This could be like an hour-long video for all I know. So hope you guys like hanging out with me. But I totally forgot what I was talking about. Clean! Chong! Oh, Chong, what a sweetheart. Chong, I watched Chong clean that hostel from top to bottom every single day. And that was just so nice for peace of mind. I watched him go into the showers. He was scrubbing the showers. He was mopping the floor. He was taking out the trashes, changing the towels because they had like reusable towels for like, not like for showering, you had to bring your own towel. Actually, I had to rent a towel. That was another thing. Off topic again. But I watched him clean. There was one day where I spent most of the day in the hostel, just kind of like reading, chilling out, editing photos. He came in, he was mopping the floors, he was taking out the trash, he was stripping the beds for new people to come into. So it was just nice to see how clean the place actually was, knowing how many bodies were in there, if that makes sense. You know, in a hotel room, you know, it's just you and your sister or you and your family, so you don't like really worry about that stuff. But I worry about getting like athlete's foot through my shoes walking through a place because I don't know what it's like. I don't know, it was nice seeing that they clean it. The last con, and the most important con, is, how should I phrase this? Age, I guess. I felt too old being in there. I felt, and go watch that story time. I know I've referenced it a bunch, but go watch that story time to know like how old I felt. But also just, I felt so old in the sense of, there were just boys walking around shirtless. Like that frat boy era of like, you know, when you have like a good bod and like you're brushing your, it's like you don't need to be shirtless walking around, Brad. Put on a tank top or something. I know it's hot, but golly, have some class. But age also in the sense of like experiences. So I just met so many people who are around the age of like 20 years old. And like, you could just tell they're just like young and naive. And I was like, I don't, like they invited me along to do something during the day. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to hang out with you all day. Cause you're just like a bit young and just don't have that life experience or maturity that like I want to hang out with right now. I don't know how to describe it, but like another thing is that they just don't have this disposable income like you do as you're older. So it's like I was 30 and I know I was saving money by staying in a hostel, but like I could still treat myself to a nice meal. I could still buy a round of drinks for people. No, these people have no money, like no disposable income. Like they have $20 left for their time in London before they head to the next one, and like that's it for the budget. So sorry, they can't go out to dinner with you because they're going to be eating the free family dinner for sure. That's why they picked it. So it's just kind of like different stages of life, and like no shame to that. That's the point of staying in a hostel. But like as somebody with like a little bit more disposable income, a little bit more life experiences, maturity, I felt like I was too old to be staying in a hostel. Plain and simple. And nobody else felt that way. Nobody was like, oh, here comes the grandma. I don't know, is that what sound a grandma makes? What the hell was that, Jacy? But I just felt old. I just felt old. And I was old. I was too old. I was too tired. They were young and spry and shirtless and had no money. So, you know what? Maybe just not for me in the sense of activities and things that we wanted to do. But just keep your shirt on, Brad. Jesus! But the last and final pro and the main, you know, thing for all of the reasons to stay in a hostel is that Staying in a hostel, of course, it's great for saving money, for making new friends, but it is perfect when you want to travel and see new countries and cities. Because the point of traveling is that you want to experience the city, see the city, go out and about. You're not spending your time in the hotel room, you know? You're traveling, not vacationing. So like, for an example, when I go with my mom or my sister, we'll have nights in the hotel where we put on a movie, order room service, and chill out in the hotel room. We will spend our time getting ready. We will do our hair and makeup and like put on music and have some champagne in the morning and like spend time in the room before going out. Hostels are great for if you just want to go see the city. If you just want to wake up, put on your shoes, and go out and about, you know? It's not about spending time in the hostel, relaxing, chilling. It's about having a roof over your head at nighttime for you to see the cities that you want. So if you want to travel and if you want to do it with a little extra money in your pocket, I would recommend hostels. I think overall, I would recommend hostels for young people who are looking to save some coin, who are looking to make friends. It was so nice as a solo traveler to have a group to go out and do things with at night, because I've traveled alone before and like 8 p.m. is my deadline to get back home into my hotel room, because it's like, I'm not gonna go to a bar by myself. I'm not trying to get kidnapped on the streets of Milwaukee at 10 p.m. No, thank you. But if I have people that are already downstairs about ready to go out and it's an open invite, heck yes, I'm gonna do it. But I feel old, I feel weathered, I feel tired, I feel a little bit annoyed that it was nice, but not for every single situation. So, I don't know, I feel like I'm talking around in circles. I just wanted to give all of the pros and cons of hostel living because I loved it, I would recommend it, but I probably won't ever do it again. I won't do a sketchy hotel either. I would sooner stay with a friend or maybe save up a little bit more and budget for just a little bit nicer of a hotel room just to have some privacy and some space, because that's worth it to me. But if you're considering staying in a hostel, I don't know, maybe this video helped. Maybe it didn't and you just wanted to hang out with me while I ramble with my COVID brain. It's really foggy up there, guys. I know editing Jacy's going to be watching this just saying, what the hell are you talking about, my guy? But, you know, I mainly just wanted to sit down and hang out with you guys. Hopefully this video was helpful too, but I don't know, I just wanted to ramble. But that was it for some of the pros and cons of staying in a hostel as a 30-year-old. There's no new news here, you guys. Pretty sure all this you could have found in a Google article. You could have found on reddit.com. But I hope you more so enjoyed just hanging out with me, because I missed you guys, and I want to get back into making more videos on this channel, but I'm going to be real honest, I won't be able to do that unless they're as casual as this. I don't miss scripting my videos a bunch. I don't miss putting in crazy edits and doing fun sound effects at the end there. That spinning head thing I did, if I even did that, no, I did it begrudgingly. But if you like hanging out with me, then look forward to more future videos, because I'm going to do some more, but they'll be a lot more casual. So I hope you guys are okay with that. Just put me on in the background while you crochet. Or paint your own nails. I didn't show you my nails. Probably can't see them. Yeah, very nice. Very nice MG color. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Toodles! Okay, where's my clicker? Clicker! Clicker! Where are you, clicker? Why can't I find you? Oh, that makes me miss Christmas already. My world is changing. I'm rearranging. Does that mean Christmas has to... I don't know all the words. I'll get back to you guys during Christmas time.